everybody, it's Kathy from Nutritiously Simple and also Plant-Based Simply. I just thought I'd pop in this morning because I am prepping something for breakfast, and I think that it's a common theme. I was getting ready to order groceries. Hi, how are you? I was getting ready to order groceries, and when I realized that, and I was hungry, right, because it's breakfast. I've already taught a diabetes prevention program early this morning. But when I went to go into like the veggie drawer in my refrigerator, I found that I had all these odds and ends. I'm sure that I am not the only human, right, that has things like that. Hello, good morning to you. And then also I had a little bit of cherry tomatoes left. I have a little bit of spinach left. So I thought I would make kind of like a frittata. And I just thought I'd show you what I'm going to do. A great thing to do with leftover veggies is just chop them up, throw them in the pan. Now, here's the one thing, and it's a question for anyone who's watching me live. So I have these mushrooms that I opened last week, but they're not so, I don't think they're good. I'm not sure. So I've chosen not to use them. So what I did is I did kind of the sniff test. And the best way I can describe with mushrooms is if it doesn't smell, I mean, it almost smells like rotten garbage. I think that that's a good indication that just throw those out. And then next time, a great way to store these are actually in a paper sack. So I should have done that. I'm sad because I love mushrooms and I would have loved mushrooms in this, but I'm not going to eat these and then run the risk. I always think maybe it would make my gut health better. Who knows? So I'm gonna just start chopping up my veggies and then I'm gonna saute them. So the first thing that I'm gonna put in my pan over here, and I have my little, I'll turn it so you guys can see. I'm gonna turn it down a little. Hold on one second. So I have my little, this is a non-stick skillet, by the way, which is so amazing. I love it because I can use cast iron and have this, it has this non-stick coating on it. And so I get the same, it spreads the heat out better, it conducts better, but then I don't have the sticking that may occur. And I just have it on a little hot plate type of thing. So I already have that warming up a little bit, and I'm gonna just turn, sorry. I'm gonna turn it down to where I'm chopping. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna take care of my onion. I'm gonna cut the end of this off. This onion is not super fresh, so there we go. But I mean, it's not in terribly bad shape. This would not be traditionally the way I would ever chop any onion. But I'm gonna just go ahead and cut it up because it was oddly shaped by the way that whoever used it before. A lot of times I like to go and cut along the lines there. It's always good to curl your fingers under so you don't chop those off. And then I'm just gonna chop it up kind of coarsely. If this was a new onion, it would be a little bit easier for me to chop that up, but I'm just gonna do it coarsely right now. And I don't need a ton of onion, simply because it's just me. So I'm gonna put some onion in there, and then I have some minced garlic that I'm gonna put in my pan as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and toss that in there. I'm gonna spritz it lightly with, I like to use avocado oil spray because it has a higher smoke point. And I don't generally add oil in any of my cooking. You could just dry saute it as well. That would be fine. Or even use a little veggie broth. There we go. Then we'll go back over here and chop up the rest of our vegetables. So you always want a flat surface to cook on, so I'm just gonna cut through this and then I'll cut it from there. love zucchini. All right, so we're just gonna throw some of this in. Again, go ahead and chop. Oops. I'm gonna use the whole thing just because, again, we're just trying to get rid of those extra veggies that happen to be around. Throw those in. And then I'm going to throw in my spinach so it will start to wilt as well. I'm going to move you guys back over to my pan. Now the joke always is, right, that you could put like cups and cups of spinach in and it will just wilt down. I'm literally going to use all the spinach I have because I'm going to order some more spinach today. And then I'm just going to put a lid on this, and that will help with the steam coming off of that will help kind of make it condense down a little bit. So I want you to think about when you have all those different veggies available that you have left over, it's not enough to make a whole dish with it. This is a quick and easy way to kind of put this together by throwing in a little bit of whatever you have. I also have some tomatoes, but I'm gonna wait to do those. And as a matter of fact, while I'm talking to you, I'm gonna half them. Because I'm going to put them in right at the end when I put in, today I'll be using egg whites. Sometimes I will use the plant egg called Just Egg. I do personally, so I eat a plant-based diet, excuse me, but I don't use, I don't eat any meat, but I do use a little bit of non-fat dairy and I do eat egg whites. So let's just do this. All right. And get some, I like to get the multicolored cherry tomatoes. Sorry. Okay, so this is gonna start cooking down, so I'm gonna show you that now. There we go. And I'm just going to stir it a little bit just to kind of help the process of the sauteing. Again, you don't have to use like tablespoons of oil. You can dry saute. You can spritz it with a little bit, just a little bit of cooking spray. And I always tell people that if you're going to use a cooking spray, then make sure that you're using something that's actually 100% oil and not just full of chemicals. Like this one here is avocado oil spray. It's 100% avocado oil spray. So now I'm going to put my tomatoes in, right? This will make a really delicious breakfast. Now let's say that you don't, like I said, you could either use egg whites or you could use a plant-based egg like Just Egg, or you wouldn't have to use egg at all. You could pair this, my favorite go-to plant-based protein would be chickpeas, so you could use that. You could make like a power bowl with these veggies. You could put in some whole grains like quinoa. See how much that spinach cooked up? It filled the pan, and now it doesn't fill the pan quite so much. So there we go. I love how colorful it is. You know, as dietitians, we always talk about eating the rainbow. This is one easy way to do that. Plus I used up all my veggies that were just in the fridge waiting for a home to go to. So now what I'm gonna do, because I'm gonna use egg whites today, so you could either crack them and separate the eggs. I also will oftentimes just use the carton of egg whites, or you could use like egg substitute where it appears yellow. Because essentially it's just egg whites usually that they put a coloring in. That's why I just use the egg white themselves. So I'm just gonna pour some in. So I'm not, even before I was plant-based, I am not a big egg person. So I don't generally use a ton of egg in anything I do. So another thing to kind of help this cook up a little bit, you could put it in the oven. Another trick of mine is I like to just put the lid on, and that will help kind of heat it up on the inside too, so the top cooks just like the bottom cooks. So I'm gonna let that cook for a second. See how that's going. Alrighty. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments, because I would love to answer any questions that you have as we're going along here. So the big thing is, right, you can just take the veggies that you have, throw them in, stir them up, put in your your favorite flavors. So like I love garlic, I love mushrooms. I would have put mushrooms in if I had any. Spinach I love. I had tomatoes. I had some leftover onion as well. I had some leftover zucchini. So I put all of that in here, and now I'm just kind of making like a frittata. I could bake it in the oven, or I could do it like I am right now. I'm using, because it was easier to demonstrate it, I'm using this little hot plate. So I always like to put a lid on, so then the steam that comes out of it helps cook the top part. And then if you wanted to use either like some vegan cheese, or if you're going to use dairy cheese, I usually recommend using fat-free, simply because decreasing the fat and the added sugar is going to decrease inflammation. So you could do that too. So just sprinkle some on the top. I also have an avocado. I bought avocados and I realized that they were still in there, but I've had these 2 weeks. Not really sure what that's going to look like when I open it up. Actually, what I could do right now is I'll cut it open and we'll just see. It may not, it's kind of soft, softer than I normally would like. I mean, it's just very ripe, let's be honest. All right, so let's see what happens, friends. Ready? The great avocado reveal. Well, I think it's actually gonna be okay. So it doesn't really have any brown spots. It's so funny. These are like the tiniest avocados ever. Look at the size of that pit. It's so tiny. So once the, what I'm gonna call is a frittata, once that it is fully, once the egg is fully cooked, because I'm just going to let it hang out there for a few minutes, that's when then after, in a little bit here, and it may even be now, it's getting pretty close, you could use the fat-free cheese or your vegan cheese on top and just put the lid back on and let it melt. And then you could also, what else was I going to do? Oh, so my favorite, right, is everything but the bagel seasoning. So I'm going to sprinkle that on top too. Again, it's all about incorporating your favorite flavor profiles into what you're eating so that you enjoy the food that you eat and get your veggies in at the same time. So I'm going to sprinkle just the teeniest bit of cheese. I'm going to turn this back on the pan so you can see. There we go. All right, so if I take that off, you can see how now that it is cooked and solidified for the most part. We're gonna take just a little bit of fat-free cheese and sprinkle it on top. I'm also going to put my everything but the bagel seasoning on there as well. So I'm just gonna sprinkle some. This is almost out as well. There we go. And then I'm gonna put a little cheese on it. And the cheese is almost gone too. Clearly I need to get groceries ordered. Okay. And then what we'll do is just put the lid on and it will melt that cheese and finish cooking up the top of that frittata. So that is pretty much, oh, hi Hannah and Matt, how are you today? How's it going? How's this look? would you eat my frittata, Hannah and Matt? It's better than eating out, friends. But just again, the whole point, whoops, of what this video was today was just to take the veggies that you have left over, and then you could just chop them up, saute them, add egg whites or just egg. And then if you like cheese, you could use vegan cheese or fat-free cheese. And then I'm gonna put a little bit of avocado on it. And that's it, guys. This is the whole thing. So as you can see very quickly, so fat-free cheese doesn't like to melt very well, but if you put it on after the top is already done, this is what will happen. It will actually melt very nicely. So that's it, guys. I'm gonna head out and eat my breakfast now. See you later.